Matrimony was elevated by Jesus Christ to the dignity of a sacrament. The sacrament of matrimony is a sacrament of fellowship that enables a man and a woman, now joined as husband and wife, to make a family and as a whole to strive for perfect holiness and obtain perfect happiness. Husband and wife can help each other to become holy and then together lead their children in the path of perfect holiness. There are three essential requirements for the bond of marriage. Number one is indissolubility. The bond of marriage is valid until one of the partners passes away. There is a difference between a contract and a covenant. Contracts can be broken, whereas covenants cannot. Marriage, therefore, is a covenant and it enjoys indissolubility. The second is unity. Marriage must be monogamous, which guarantees exclusive faithfulness on the part of both spouses. And lastly, openness to life. Marrying without an intention not to have children is an invalid marriage. There are two objectives of marriage. Number one is companionship. Marriage is for the good of both the husband and the wife. The number two is for procreation. Another objective of marriage is to give birth to children and educate them. Marriage enables a couple to accept children as God's gift and gives the couple the right and responsibility to educate them. The biblical basis of marriage is found in Matthew chapter 19, verses 4 to 6. He said in his reply, that is Jesus, "Have you not read that from the beginning the Creator made them male and female? And said, for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, no human being must separate." Marriage also has external signs. The first sign are the intending couple, a baptized man and a baptized woman, both who are free to marry. They are the visible signs of the marriage. The second sign, which is the form, can be heard, is the marriage vows exchanged by both couple. I name, take you, name, to be my wife or husband. I promise to be faithful to you in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health, to love you and to honor you all the days of my life, or in similar words. The vows are audible and heard by those present at the wedding. The grace of the sacrament of matrimony is definitely given to a couple when these two signs are present. Then we have other signs like the wedding ring. The grace of the sacrament of matrimony are as follows. Number one, the grace of a man and a woman becoming husband and wife. This grace is given to the married couple and they become one flesh. Number two, the grace of the Holy Spirit to help them keep their promises made at their wedding. Of course, it does not mean that the grace they receive at their wedding is though is enough for them, but because of human limitation, they will still need, the grace needs to be strengthened, to be recovered and increased with the aid of other sacraments, especially confession and nourishment that comes with the Holy Eucharist. Who can give and receive holy matrimony? The sacrament of matrimony is given and received by the couple getting married. The couple themselves are the ministers of the sacrament. This is the only time that a priest is not the minister. A priest officiating the wedding is only presiding over the ceremony as a representative of the church and a witness that the marriage definitely took place. Matrimony is the sacrament of the just. Therefore, one of the requirements is that confession must take place prior to the wedding, if needed. Validity of the sacrament of matrimony. The sacrament of matrimony is between a baptized man and a baptized woman. If a validly baptized non-Catholic marries a Catholic, it's still a valid matrimony. However, the Catholic party would need permission to marry the non-Catholic. If a Catholic marries one who is not baptized, then the Catholic party needs a dispensation from the church. He has to write through his parish priest. He or she has to write through his parish priest to the bishop or archbishop in our case. This is called, when a Catholic marries a non-baptized, it is called a marriage with disparity of cult, or simply mixed marriage. The marriage automatically becomes a sacrament when the non-baptized spouse receives baptism. For a marriage to be valid, the following criteria must be met. First, they must have capacity to marry in the church according to the canon law. It means they must fulfill the required age of marriage. Second, there must be a free and unconditional expression of consent to the marriage from both the groom and the bride, meaning they must not be forced into it. And lastly, the marriage ritual must have the canonical form, meaning that the two ministers, the couple must be present and they must say the vows in the presence of a priest. If any of these three requirements are missing, then the marriage is invalid. Catholics are supposed to marry Catholics within the church. Should this not be the case, for any reason, one must receive permission or dispensation from the church. One must obtain a dispensation from the church in order to marry a non-baptized person. One also needs permission to marry a baptized non-Catholic. For both cases, the non-Catholic party is not really required to make a promise of conversion to Catholicism. However, the Catholic party simply needs to make promises that he or she would continue to practice his or her faith and raise the children in the Catholic faith. And of course, this presumes that the agreement is made also by the non-Catholic party. If married without dispensation, if any Catholic marries in a situation that requires dispensation without a dispensation, it will be an invalid marriage. You are encouraged to speak with a priest if any of the above applies to you for further explanation.